I'm gonna start it on mine, but without audio.
By CP3. By CP3.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's right. It's No, it's not. It's Tuesday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, episode 250. Who'd have ever thunk it? 250 episodes. And we're here tonight with the Caps game live. You see, we got Robbie G in the man cave. You see, we got Anna K in the hockey cave. I'm gonna give you that new name, man. I don't know where it came from. I'm gonna just go with it. And we're coming to you live, episode 250. Robbie, it's good to have you on. I know you got the babies you're worried about, trying to take care of them and trying to keep everything straight. But I appreciate you taking the time out, because who would have thought from a Facebook post and me and you conversing in a sports group that we would be doing episode 250 of our own sports show covering the best DC sports you get around. Think you're muted, Robbie. A show isn't a show until Robbie double mutes himself.
It's weird. My Twitch feed has like extra music on it. So Anna, do you hear anything extra? I'm just trying to figure out if it's something on my.
I don't. You're good.
It's so weird. I don't know what it is picking up over there. It's such a bizarre thing. Anyway, things are going well. Yeah, I still hear it on my Twitch feed. That's so bizarre. Well, why don't you talk to Anna for a second? Let me see if I can figure this out real quick. And because it's so bizarre, it's like holiday music. I can't even figure out what it is. So it's just really bizarre.
Carol and I just talked about how well Tommy's doing.
Oh yeah, we're actually have a live Caps game going on as we speak, where the Caps are pretty much handling the Florida Panthers 4-1, and we're going to talk about this impressive 3-game winning streak last week and the teams that they beat, and some of the milestones. Once again, Alex Ovechkin has done his stellar week. He'll probably get first star of the week again because he's the great eight.
I fixed it, but it's you're going to laugh. Somehow, and I've never installed Candy Crush, somehow Candy Crush as a virus has appeared on my streaming PC since I've not touched this thing in over 2 weeks, and playing music in my ears. So I apologize for the early people for doing that.
Yeah, but you don't have to apologize for playing Candy Crush. It's okay. It's okay.
I've actually never played Candy Crush. Maybe she might like Candy Crush. I'm going to feed her a little bit while I talk hockey to you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Sports OTHP. We have a Zara sighting on the show.
Yes, there you go. So, So yeah, she's been great. I've been really enjoying taking care of her these last couple of weeks. I appreciate everyone for picking up the slack and being a part of the podcast. Anna, you for doing this, and Brian for hosting the basketball, and Dujanay and Hurt for all the football content. And it's been really fun. I've definitely gotten a chance to watch some of it with you, and I've been a part of a couple of the episodes. But it's been a really special time spending it with Zach and with Zara, so I really appreciate the time. But the sports week has been awesome. I mean, the Capitals had a perfect week last week. They're playing pretty well in this live game right here that we'll get into in a little bit. The Wizards have had an up and down kind of week, but I think they won 2, lost 2. Unfortunately, they lost their 22nd game in a row to San Antonio in San Antonio. So that's unfortunate. Maybe it was good we weren't live last night to watch our roundtables live reaction for that. But on the bright side, one sad thing is we didn't get our live reaction to what a crazy football game. So we'll definitely be talking about that in a little bit. But why don't I'm going to share this one-handed while you guys talk a little bit of hockey about the week that was. And just so that people can tune in and join us in the conversation on Carol's feed. We're just going live on Carol's feed. Carol, have you shared it to the podcast page yet?
I am about to. I will share it to a couple of other groups that I belong to. But
all right, you share it to the podcast page, and I will share it to a couple of the other groups. But Anna, real quick, anything new or exciting in your life that you wanted to mention before we get into it?
No, I survived the that lull in teaching, getting to the Thanksgiving break, and the break was fantastic. And now we are in the 14 school day countdown until that holiday break. So that's where it is right now. But no, it was good. It was good. Fantastic weather, and I hope everybody had a happy and healthy holiday as well.
Yeah, I had a good time with my family. A lot of people got to come and meet her, and that was great. And so it was really good. Carol, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well.
Oh yeah, spent some time with the fam, nieces and nephews. It was a good time, good food. I just finished my last little bit of leftovers last night, so yeah.
I just finished my leftovers just a few minutes ago. So yeah.
Can't go wrong with leftovers. Although I will say my husband is like meh on the leftovers. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it.
I mean, that's the best part, man. The turkey stew, all the egg, man.
You just can't go wrong. I mean, you're just like, it really is one of those things where you can put it all together in a pot and I don't know, heat it up and it's all good. It doesn't matter what it is.
Especially on a cold night like tonight.
Exactly.
See,
That's good. Well, if you guys are all ready, I will go ahead and start off with that Canadiens game that was last week.
Yeah, let's go ahead and rock and roll. Get into this.
All right.
Greek capital.
So it was just last Wednesday. The Caps played the Canadiens. First period was dominated by the Capitals, starting with Dowd scoring his second, assisted by Orlov and Jensen. Carlson getting his fourth at 9:48 with a power play goal. And Scribosa, I'm loving this name and loving his plays recently. Getting his first unassisted at 14:31. The Canadiens did score once at 18:46. Going into the second period, we have Kuzi, scoring, assisted by Carlson and Ovi. And then Montreal closes out the second in 18:54 to make it 4-2. Still the Caps. Third period, Tommy scores his seventh at 1:49, assisted by Ovi. McMichael. Orlov scores at 5:57, and Montreal just gets one last goal in at 7:34, but it is a 6-3 win for Washington. I will tell you, this is, I don't know if you both watched it. I watched it. It was what a fantastic game. And I will say, I absolutely love who doesn't love seeing Ovi score, of course, but there is something seen about Dowd coming back after an injury, scoring. Carlson, I love this game.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game. The Capitals, pretty much had control off the break. You got to talk about Ovi with the hat trick of assists. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have a little Ovi segment later on. I don't even want to start because that would take up a whole 30 minutes by itself. You know how much I love Ovi. But I mean, just to see the secondary scoring, the hustle, the fight, excuse me, and all of the and just the way that they've been executing in 200 feet of ice, and playing solid in each zone, and when they get a lead, they lock it down even more. We're seeing, to me, I got to give your coach props, Robbie. I'm seeing some signs of some of the stuff we saw with the Trots when he was here with the defense, and how they would lock things down and start tightening up, especially in between the blue lines and the neutral zone. They go to that 1-3-1, and then it's pretty much over for the other team. So I'm definitely gotta give some props to your coach, Robbie, because I was doubting him, but I'm very impressed with the way this team has started to start the season.
I love how like the defense is activating so much. Like they're a big part of playing sound defense and trap style. Oh no, Florida just scored a goal. But I'm so happy about Dmitry Orlov and his play. John Carlson has been playing well, in moments and big stretches, and we've been keeping games at least pretty low scoring for the most part. So and Sammy's been playing really well too. 4 games in a row we've now started him, and I know when I was last on the show a couple of weeks ago. We weren't as hot on him. We were more on the double V train, right? So it's amazing how much can change in a month.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to.
I have to, give Samsonov some love. He's definitely stepped his game up in these last games that he's been in, and yeah, like I said, I think when for Carly had that shutout in his debut, I think that might have woke Samsonov up, because ever since that game and since he's got back in the net, he's reminded me of Hopi a little bit in his young days.
Well, I think what's so great to see is, Sammy is one that we all knew had potential. We were just kind of disappointed with some of his previous actions and previous choices, I guess we can say. And same thing with Kuzi. And now Kuzi has kind of come out and been, flipping outstanding. So maybe there's a little bit of, maybe it's wearing off, and maybe there's a little bit of an influence. But I will say that this was one of the first games that I've seen in which that face-off percentage has looked awesome. And so we have the Capitals 53.6%. We're down, in the 30s.
Nick Dowd.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, Nick Dowd is one of the top face-off guys. So said, came back, and they were having some games where they were getting beat bad in the face-off dot, but most of the games it was close. But now with him back in the lineup, and remember, we still haven't seen Nicky at all this season.
Exactly. Which, at this point, how great for us, because it's like we're if this is how we're playing without him, imagine what happens when he comes back. And I will say that I have a whole new respect, and not that I didn't respect Nick Dowd before. I always thought he was pretty fantastic, but he was on Elliot in the Morning last week, and my husband called and was like, hey, there's this cat player on, like, you should probably listen to it. And it was Nick Dowd, and what a great player. Like, it's so great to hear, somebody be interviewed, and he's so honest, and he's so humbled. But everything he said is just spot on, just exactly how he feels about the team, how things should be played, and he's very humbled, and it was just a really great interview. And because you never know what Elliot's gonna say, it's like he could throw you for a loop. So it was really cool to hear what he had to say, and he was very much glad to be back, and we definitely needed him God, in those face-off percentages for sure.
I mean,
We're being outshot right now in this third period, 8-0, and I believe we're now on the penalty kill. Oh no, we're not. Never mind. I don't know what happened there. The crowd got very excited, but I guess it must not have been. I thought it was a penalty at first, but it doesn't seem to be. They have an offensive face-off draw, and they're just tilting the ice pretty badly right now.
Florida's 11-1 at home. They took a loss, I believe, in that last game of going for the NHL record.
Yeah, Seattle, of all the teams to get their first home loss, and they were going for a record for most home.
Seattle. I thought that Seattle, after they beat the Capitals, Seattle has won, I think, 3 or 4 in a row, and they beat some pretty good teams.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna. The NHL is really weird this year. A lot of teams are gonna surprise teams. It's not like even the worst team can win on a night. I mean, Seattle was the worst team, but I don't know if that. It's tough to be an expansion team. I know Vegas made it look easy, but it's.
That's a cross check much. Oh, they call it a trip.
Wow,
that looked like more of a cross check to me. Yeah, Florida's getting aggressive down low, trying to get within the goal. Still 14-24 left in the third. And this has been a physical game. And the stat that I thought was shocking, they said earlier, was the Caps haven't had a fight all season.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it still hasn't happened in 20 games. I'm going to go change her, but I'll be right back.
How you going to embarrass her like that? This is on video. This is recorded. They're going to.
We should at least be playing the Penguins, and for you to be like, I'm having a Sydney moment.
Hopefully, she gives good luck to our power play, and I come back and there's another goal on the board. So
there you go.
But talk some.
No pressure, Zara.
He's feeling a little verklempt, so.
All right, let's go ahead and get on into the second game this week.
So great. So here we are with the Panthers game. Here we go. Panthers score the only goal in the first, and then we have Willie scoring at 1:34 with a shorthanded goal assisted by Carlson, which happened to be his 15th, and Kuzie's 18th assist. The captain scores at 2:50 with the power play goal, which was his 16th. And again at 3:46, assisted by Curtis and Kuzi. And this was just sick. I mean, he is just on fire. Panthers score at 6:49 to make it it was a 3-2 Washington lead. Third period, Ovi gets a Hattie. I don't know, Carol, if you had a chance to see it or if you were working.
I definitely watched the game. And, unfortunately, the Panthers have just scored to make it 4-3 on a breakaway. I didn't see how the play developed. I just looked up and the Panthers were on the ice.
Oh.
So 4-3.
Like such a delay, like they're still singing the anthem. So I'm like, what's happening? Okay, so in better news, so we'll still go back to the Hattie with his 18th, assisted by Kuzi and Wilson, and the Panthers score once more, but still it was a win for the Caps. I think walking away from this game, if we're looking at stats, that penalty minutes are way down, the face-off percentage is up, and the penalty kill is awesome. So I think that, it's like there's something about having Laviolette that's sort of reined in that Tommy a little bit, we're not seeing him dropping the gloves as much. Of course, there's always 21, but that's okay. He's going to learn Hathaway, but, it's okay. Like, he's awesome and he's aggressive and he's a kick-ass player, so I'm okay with it. But it's nice to see that he very much has this team, all under that discipline sort of cloud, however you want to call it.
Yeah, they're definitely playing more discipline. Wilson not having any fights. That's already shocking in itself. But I mean, they're playing discipline. They're physical when they have to be. And they're ouch, that had to hurt. And they're hard on the forecheck and they wear you down. but they haven't, taken. I haven't really seen any dumb penalties or retaliation penalties, so they're definitely playing some disciplined hockey. And to defeat this Florida Panthers team at home at Capital One, they were riding high, one of the top teams in the league. If I think they were the top team in the league at that
Yeah.
time. And Florida is having a flurry in front trying to tie this game up. It looked like it's a delayed penalty. Samsonov is sprawled trying to keep it out the net, and it's getting physical. And I think it's a delayed penalty call on the Caps. I think Laviolette needs to call the timeout to get some composure and try to kill some of this momentum that Florida has. But that goal they scored was a shorthanded goal, as Robbie mentioned. The Caps were going to the power play, and they pulled off the penalty. And as I said, I think there might be a penalty. I'm not sure. I saw the ref put his arm up, but I didn't see anything. They're going to commercial break. Still 4-3 with around 12 minutes left in the third period. Caps are falling to the momentum.
Wait,
right
did they score a shorthanded goal? What
Yes,
happened? Why is it?
Robbie, it was a breakaway short.
No, that's not what was supposed to happen. They were supposed to score a goal. Yes.
Yeah, it caught
Go
me
wake
off
Zara
guard.
up and tell her, come on now.
Yeah, I was just saying, Florida had some momentum. It was just a scrum in front of the net where Samsonov basically had to dive all over the place, and I'm not sure if it was a delayed penalty or not, but 4-3, Florida has the momentum. I think Laviolette needs to call a timeout to try to squirt some of this momentum. The crowd is going crazy, and they got to get some momentum because, as you said, Robbie, they're tilted the ice their way, and they haven't let up.
Oh, and Patrick Hornquist was a part of it? All right. Oof. Hate him.
You just changed her. I thought you were putting her down. Oh, that's so sweet. Look at her. Oh. Sorry. And then, of course, with hockey, it would be like dropping F-bombs. But when it comes to the baby, so sweet.
All right, yeah, so it's
Oh, no, Hornquist was the second goal. He assisted it. This was a shorthanded goal with 2 assists. All right, so, this game, it's going to cause me to panic. All right, but we'll get back there, right? Now I'm back down here again.
Yeah,
There we go. There we go. And of course, and now we're into the Carolina game, which just about gave me a heart attack. So. If you guys are ready, unless you want to wait for the live game feed to go.
It's they still sorting things out. It's
So I assume you guys talked about like the OV hat trick and breaking records and all that sort of stuff.
I didn't
sorry I
even get
missed
a chance
that.
to talk about it because of that craziness in front of the net. But yeah, I'll touch on it real quick and let you get into it, Robbie. Just Alex, man, he just, like I said, he had a hat trick of assists the game before. Then he has a hat trick of goals in the next game. And he's quickly climbing up the all-time goals list. And, I mean, he's getting better with age. And they say the points that he scored in the first month of the season was the most that he ever had at age 36. This man is
no one at age 36 or older has ever had more points to start a season. So
yeah, it's crazy how phenomenal this guy is. I mean, it's crazy to me that a lot of other folks don't talk about him being one of the top, not just hockey players, but pro players to play their game or any game. I mean, this man stays healthy. He consistently scores. He's a leader on the ice, and now that he's gotten older, he's gotten better, playing defense, playing 200 feet of hockey, not just looking for, trying to score one-timers. He's actually, being a team player. And that's why some of the scoring that we've seen that with the slap passes and they think that he's going to shoot and he's passing it off to a wide open Wilson or a wide open whoever just because he's the grade 8. Man.
Well, he's had a couple of 3-assist games, a lot of points, and he's one of the league leaders in points. It's just been really incredible to watch. One stat that I saw that was interesting, he has overtaken the lead in an interesting stat. Games with 1 5-on-5 goal and 1 power play goal in the same game. So like there are people that have had more power play goals, there are people that have had more hat tricks than him, but now he is the player that has had the most power play and regular goals combined, 2 goals or more in a game of anybody. So it's another record that he has broken. And it's just, I feel like he breaks a record every week. So
yeah, and for me, it's like I'm humbled and honored and excited to just be watching history in the making. it is truly fantastic, and I'm speechless. Truly, like, I mean, a hat trick. I mean, it's like,
well, he's now the oldest Capital ever to have a hat trick, right? So he's over
exactly.
So, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down. So he may break that record a few times. This is a crazy. So the Florida unfortunately scored a goal and is on the power play. It was an interference to Tom Wilson. There's 30 seconds left, but they are buzzing like crazy during this power play. Lots of opportunities. The Caps are just trying to get out of this situation right here.
After that save by Samson, I've also got to give him a shout out for the first Capitals goalie to earn a point in his first not 10 games of the start of the season.
And he's the first to have back-to-back shutouts.
Shutouts, yeah.
Yeah. So since Holtby did it, back in 2017,
Wow.
and also he's got him on the road, right? So I think it had been forever since that had happened. Like Holtby had done them at home, so or if maybe never.
Nice
so
play, push it. Ooh,
oh
nice
yeah, big
dangle.
steal, shorthanded.
He got it caught in the skates. That was a beautiful play right there.
Almost a shorthanded goal. Now the fans are going crazy because they're so happy about that save. But what just happened is it's icing. So we've got a little bit less than 10 minutes left in this third period, and it is frantic, going both ways. Shorthanded chances, power play chances, stuff like that. I've got as many different. I've got a cat now on my street. Got a baby. It's crazy.
Multitasking parenting.
Yeah, exactly.
going on over there, Robbie?
Exactly. So
we'll go ahead and get into this. Getting caught up. Yeah, there's still 9:34 left. This is going to be an interesting ending to this game.
That's crazy. I know. I'm completely distracted. Like I said, I'm not. Like, we've moved
18 to 1 in shots right now in the third period.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Caps, they gotta get it going, get some offensive zone time. Oh, had a screen in front, but he couldn't.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was a good opportunity right there. You seem to be like a second or two ahead of me. Which is good because then I can look up. So yeah,
let's go ahead and get into the. Let's get into the Carolina game.
Well, it's not to Carolina, but honest, of course, you guys know. Feel free to interject, whatever, scream, shout, whatever, to interrupt me if something happens.
Delayed penalty.
Delayed penalty. So
delayed penalty. My TV is delayed. Like,
yes, it's ridiculous. So the Caps will go shorthanded again. This is playing with fire now, and the fans are just going nuts. I've never seen the Florida arena so raucous, right?
No.
I've never
they made the playoffs
usually,
last year. They broke that long drought.
Right, but like historically in the regular season, they find it hard to even like fill a third capacity in the last 20 years, and it's a different Florida team this year. But anyway, go on with the Carolina
Dolphins,
scoring.
Sure thing. So we have yesterday. Well, no, it's 2 days ago. The Carolina for the 1 o'clock puck drop. Oh boy. No goals in the first and second period. Caps dominated with Ovi getting his 19th and Protas getting his first NHL goal, which is I'm so excited. At 12:57, assisted by Carlson. Third period, Carolina scores twice to tie it up. But then Orlov scores at 17:05 with a power play goal, and then Carlson with an empty netter at 18:19, which is just crazy. Fantastic. It was, but you know what I will say with Carlson, I know people always are like, I feel like he's like the half empty, half full, kind of player. Like, people just don't know how to feel about him. I've always been a big Carlson fan. This is a bullet. I mean, come on. If you didn't, I don't know if you guys both saw this, but this empty netter was a bullet. And this is John Carlson at his best, and it was awesome and good for him. I don't know. I'm a Carlson fan, and there's a lot of people who aren't, but this was really awesome to see.
I mean, how can you not be a Carlson fan? I mean, we've seen him mature from when he came into the league. He's 11 years, and that's what I heard him say. He's 11 years, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize it was that long. But
Yeah.
you've seen this game mature, and what can you say bad about him? I mean, he doesn't fight. Other than that, he's a solid defenseman. He scores. He's on the power play. He's key to everything that's going on. How can you, if you don't like Carlson, something's just wrong with you.
But there's a lot of chirping on social media about him that, he's lazy, he's this, he's that. It's like, give me a break.
He was leading the team at ice time for how many
Honestly,
seasons?
stop.
That's crazy.
When Carlson, it's like, I just he's the one that kind of get in little mama bear mode where I'm like, shut up. These are his stats. He's really, really good and everything else. Orloff, I'm like, nah, I can see where you're coming from. Not this season, though. I will say I'm a little pro number 9. But with Carlson, it's I just think it's someone that he needs to, he's on the defensive line and he's going to be a great mentor to the younger kids coming up. And he has so much in him still. So great. Okay, what just happened?
Florida has tied it up on the power play. Is now 4-4 on a deflection in front of the net from a point shot from the point. And
Ekblad with the shot.
Yeah, it's all tied 4-4. I still feel they need to take a timeout. We've had a couple of TV timeouts, but they need a timeout where they can regroup and come up with a plan. Because, like I said, they had a couple of opportunities on the power play that didn't work out, but now Florida has all the momentum, and they have to do something to get it back.
And that was Ekblad.
Well, Ekblad had the shot from the point. I don't know who tipped it up front.
Okay, I'm and I know this is terrible to say and probably totally inappropriate, but I feel I said this on PowerPoint with Gil. I feel like Ekblad is just a name I just can't quite get behind. It just feels like someone who's I have a case of the Ekblads. I feel Ekblad. So therefore,
kind of how I feel right now. I feel Ekblad.
Yeah, Ekblad. What a terrible name. Regardless of the skill, it's just a name that's just kind of stuck out, and I'm Ekblad.
The Caps are getting some zone time now, at least, so that's a bright side, which I had 0 of earlier in the game, or in the period rather. So it's just the ice has been so tilted. They just need to play at least draw a penalty, something, and they did nothing with all that zone time, and now Florida's going back the other way.
Yeah,
oh man. Another big save there by Sammy. Not that it was a hard save, but he doesn't make that save there, and this game is over. So 6:45 left in the third period, and a very tight 4-4. Florida-Washington shots this period are now up to 21-2 for Florida, and it's been rough. For sure.
Yeah, the Caps got to get the forecheck going. They got to do something to get physical to slow this team down, because they're just flying. They're in transition as soon as the puck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, another almost goal right there. Huge kick-out save for Sammy.
Let's go ahead and get ready to get into the upcoming schedule. You got football right around the corner. Dudes, they should be hitting.
I know. Yeah, I certainly hope you guys have. I don't know about yesterday, but I was all about Washington for you guys yesterday during that game. So that is so fantastic of positive things to talk about. But upcoming Capitals games. So here we are tonight with Florida. Thursday, they play the Blackhawks, which will be interesting. It's the first time that they're going to be up against Marc-Andre Fleury as the goalie. They've been okay. So, I never want to be like their record isn't all that great and we've got this, but the record isn't all that great. But yeah, so this will be the first time going up against the Blackhawks, but yeah, with Fleury as their goalie, so that's always a big thing. Saturday, they're playing Columbus Blue Jackets, and then here we go on Monday, playing Anaheim. And who knows? Like, I feel like how the Capitals play the West Coast teams on the West Coast is different how they play when they have the West Coast teams here. So let's hope for a good win against Anaheim for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Upcoming schedule, like I said, it's 4-4 down against Florida. Hopefully, this should be a victory for the Caps tonight. We want to hopefully see a late goal like we saw in the previous game, and the Caps are ice to squelch this momentum and shut the crowd up. And then Blackhawks, yeah, they're definitely not playing up to what the expectations, especially with Fleury and the net. They've got a couple of victories, but they're definitely not where they want to be. And Anaheim, yeah, we're going to see, the Caps. The Caps have been in the groove, won the last 8 out of 10. And yeah, we just had an amazing play. Florida, I don't know how that puck didn't go in. Samsonov was sprawling out and it bounced off the crossbar. And
it also looked like Samsonov was hit. I feel like there could have been goalie interference on that, but I don't know. When he's coming across, it looked like he could have. But anyway, I'm just happy that it wasn't a goal, so I'll take it.
Yeah, if they would have scored there, yeah, the momentum, the crowd would have went crazy. Crazier. So what do you think about the upcoming schedule, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, the Chicago one, they started the season off pretty badly, but, obviously they're always a dangerous team. Columbus, we often play them pretty tight. Those games can go either way. Anaheim, same kind of way. It'll be a tough week. It'll be fun that you guys get to talk during that live Anaheim game. Hopefully it's maybe a little less exciting than this one in a positive way. And then that next week we play Pittsburgh the day after my birthday. So I hope that we get for that, because I know we got a big win against Pittsburgh around Carol's birthday, and it'd be good to do that again. So
I think Sarah agrees.
Yeah, I think so. And I want to give a shout out to all the people tuning in on my Twitch feed. I appreciate everyone for saying hi and to her and stuff like that. I don't know, Carol, did anyone write any comments on the Facebook one? I my hands are a little full. I can't watch that.
Man, Mark Moore just commented he's waiting for football. There's a certain social media platform that suppresses my views, and Sunday they actually would not let me stream live, so I had to go redo some things for the 250 episode to make sure I was able to stream. So yeah, I'll probably share later on and chop up some video and get some views on certain social media platforms hate.
Yeah, it's frustrating. That's why I like Twitch a lot more. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in on Twitch. We have almost 100 followers, and I also want to thank everyone for joining my YouTube channel. We just hit 100 subscribers on there, and a little piece of updated information. We have a new website, so I updated it today. We'll have a placeholder right now for Anna's bio, but she'll have a bio on the page, and so you can click on Team Sports OTHP to read Carol and my bios, and the rest of them will be up hopefully by the end of the year. And we also have a social media button now, so you can have links to all of our socials accounts, not just our Sports OTHP ones, but our personal ones. So you can follow us on any of our Twitters, or Instagrams, or Facebooks, or on Twitch as well. So if Facebook keeps suppressing stuff, maybe we can go somewhere else. But, it is our 250th episode. I do want to give a shout out to the over 2,200 followers on Facebook. I know that they see a lot of the short videos I've been doing with Zara, with the post game and the videos and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate that they are checking them out. It seems Facebook does suppress some of our longer form stuff, but the people who want to see our content are still doing it, so that's good. Face-offs, Washington just lost that one. It's 30-35. So that in face-offs are now 30-36. And shots this period still Florida 25 to Washington 2. There's 2 minutes left in regulation in this game, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes here. I don't know. But Anna, is there anything that we should know about for this week's Power Play Point podcast?
No, you guys have always been awesome about plugging our show, and last week I completely drew a blank on all the information about where you can find us. But Power Play Point podcast, like we are on, definitely on Podbean. We are on. Hopefully, we are looking for followers on Facebook, of course, and then of course you have your link on your site, which is.
Right. I love the group for you guys. You guys do a group instead of a page, but it makes it more fun that people can post different thoughts and people can comment on them, and so that's always fun. So definitely check out Power Play Point Podcast group on Facebook, and then we almost scored a goal right there, and it's the McNugget minute. So let's see if we can get some nuggies here.
Come on, Sarah,
get some nuggets. And so yeah, you guys can also, the podcast partners button is staying on the new website, so you can definitely check out you guys.
Oh,
out there.
fantastic! You
but
guys are awesome.
They call it a cross check. Caps are going to a penalty, PK.
Oh no! What
interference on Bobrovsky with I can't pronounce his name. Number 47 was going through the crease and bumped Bobrovsky, and they called for penalty.
He knows he just ruined our game for us, because the problem with this power play is, honestly, if they're smart, they won't go too crazy hard and don't try to allow for a counterattack. But going 4-on-3 to start an overtime is death, because they can set up, they can do a lot with that, even if it's only just a minute. So it's this is gonna be a rough last minute here. So we'll definitely. I know Dujanay's in the wings, but we should just stay here for the last 50 seconds of regulation before we let Andy go. Just wide. The Caps are digging for it. They clear it around the boards. Big clear. 35 seconds left in regulation. They're gonna try to tee it up for one more shot at it. 30 seconds left. They're coming up ice. And so this is your first play-by-play. They're coming down the ice. They're passing back and forth. The blue line. No.
Beat Samson off to the short side.
Stop.
Oh no. Oh.
This one hurt. This one hurt. 14.4
seconds.
This one hurt right here.
Oof. Well, it's not the game that I was hoping for our 250th podcast, but it was a close game.
Damn it.
I was hoping to at least get to overtime to get the point. Getting a road point, but we took way too many penalties and just stopped moving our legs down the stretch.
It was time to drop the gloves in that fight. This was the game in the third period of somebody that Wilson needed to drop the gloves to get the momentum back, and they couldn't get it back because Florida tilted the ice, and they didn't give up. That's why now they're about to be 12-1 at home. And yeah, that was the time where the glove should have been dropped in that third period to try to get some of the momentum back for the team. That's my only thing. I would have had to tell, hey, go out there. Hey, it's time to get real. We got to send the momentum back. But this one hurt. I can't even watch NHL Network tonight now. I don't even want to see the low lights. Oh, that one hurt.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many Caps fans there, and he knows it too. He just fucked our team. And what sucks is he's like a rookie, right? So
he's up from the AHL due to injury. So I mean, I guess it happens, but you can't blame him. The third period being outshot 25-2, and for the game 47-27. Yeah, they gave up 25 shots in games they were on the road, and you give up 25 shots in one period. You deserve to lose. So Laviolette need to go in there and yell at them throw some stuff against the wall, and then somebody to yell at him too, and you can tell Wilson to go in there and start a fight to get the momentum back.
Yeah.
I gave him too many kudos, man. I gave him a shout out. I gave Sammy a shout out. I think I was being too positive.
But it happens, though. We're on the road against arguably the best home team in the NHL. Like, as mad as I am about it, and we had this game in hand, like, shit happens. It's a long fucking season. You know, like, I'm not. I don't think it undoes having a 3-0 week last week. You know, like, we beat them once. They beat us once. You know, like.
No. Well, it sucks because, like I said, I watch it at your network, and they're going. I know already what they're going to say, so that's why I don't even want to hear it. But it's frustrating when they had control of this game and they allowed it to slip away. Even though Florida's a great home team and only lost one game at home, you saw the momentum change in the third, and they were in control for the first two periods. So it was gut check time for them, and unfortunately, they didn't answer. And yeah, I know they can't wait to get back on the ice for the next game. I know they're going to be upset over this game for at least till the next day.
Yeah, it's the whole 60 minutes of hockey.
Good.
Yeah, 40, you got to play 60. And
we had the bottle of liquor out now. It might be empty by the time we finish this.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Well, I know you guys at least can shift gears and talk about
win. Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned on.
Which is fantastic.
I just turned on NFL Network, so yeah, I'm good.
Good. Well, I will see you guys next week, and let's hope for more positive stats. And Sarah.
Like you said, it was a 3-0 week. You know, took a loss here. Still got two other games, so you know, still can go 2-1. Everything.
I'm still saying last week was a perfect week. So this was we lost game one of this week. So you know,
we're just gonna bounce back and kick ass.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, have a good week, guys. I will see you in very very soon, a couple days or so.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for everything over these last couple of weeks. I know I won't be joining you guys for the month of December, but I know that you guys have got it covered, and I really appreciate all the help that you've given.
Of course, my pleasure. Take care. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, Dujane, what's going on, bro? You can go ahead and hit the cam. Sorry for the delay in getting to the football coverage. You know, we that game. I don't know if you're a hockey fan, but that game, I'm about ready to throw something and ready to start a fight and hit myself. What's going on?
Yeah, I like watching hockey. I just haven't really been having a lot of time to really pay attention to it. But yeah, I love hockey.
No doubt, no doubt. So we're into our Washington football talk, episode 250 of Sports on the Hill podcast, and Dujane has been there for at least the last 3 seasons, maybe even 4. So might be even the first. I don't even. You've been. It's like you're part of this.
It's been a while, man. Yeah, it's been a long while.
He's been a key cog in this 250 episodes. He also has always been a great mentor to me, getting into the sports media game. He's taken off with some of the things that he's doing, NHRA, football, and other things that he's branching off in. So I always appreciate all your knowledge and tutelage and inspiration that you give me. You're the one that, inspired me to, start Sports on the Hill podcast. You're one of the people that, showed me that, hey, I can do this too. And so I truly appreciate that, man.
Hey, man, that's just what I pride myself in. It's really very little about me and really about, giving back the way it was given to me. And, I'm just appreciative to be along for the ride and see you guys grow as much as you guys have. And it's impressive, man. I take pride in that. And, I love seeing people win. And you guys are definitely winning.
I appreciate that, man. And speaking of winning, this Washington football team is on an impressive 3-game winning streak, beating 2 of the top teams in the league and defeating a foe that they've always had trouble with and almost had some trouble with last night. We'll talk about that crazy game. I want to get your take on some of the craziness that went on this game, Dujane, because some of the stuff I couldn't believe actually happened. But 17-15, another score nobody would have predicted in this game. 17-15 victory, which puts the Washington football team at 5-6 and catapults them into the 7th playoff seed. Started from the bottom, now we're here. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. You know, I think we started seeing maturations of progress. Despite everything, right around Green Bay, and I know the score doesn't really, indicate that, but it really started around Green Bay. They did some things with the Green Bay early that other teams have not been able to do. And then you see Denver, another progression. And then whatever happened out of the bye week, I'll just chalk it up to the fact of this is why you have coaches like Ron Rivera and the staff that he has put together. Uh, this is why you have these people doing this. And this is why you have this coaching staff, because for the first time ever, coming out of a bye week, they go on a 3-game winning streak and they look more uniform. They seem to have an identity, on both sides of the ball, and they seem to be very hungry. Something that we can't say for past regimes here in Washington. So, very impressive over these last 3 games, and last night was another impressive game for them, and in a spot where they don't normally do well. We know prime time is not their time, and also when they face a little bit of adversity, there's usually a collapse that follows. Um, and see, we saw some things out of this team um, that fans really should be pleased about in these 3 games.
Very much so. I mean, we could say something we haven't said for a while. We're seeing balance, running past balance. I mean, we're seeing now with Scott Turner, we spoke about it last week with Big Hurt on the show, that now we're seeing Turner, using the plays that work. He, like Hurt said, on third down, they go to players that drag route with the wide receiver coming across the middle and the tight ends going across the grain. That play is there every time. Now you're seeing him formulate a game plan that's actually, working and actually has NFL overtones because even if the run game isn't going, Gibson had 29 carries for 111. He had a 3.8-yard average. But you saw how that running game wore down the defense, which we've been preaching on this show for I don't know how long. It doesn't matter if you're only getting 3 or 2 yards a game. It's about wearing down that defensive line so in the fourth quarter you can impose your will and do what needs to be done, like we saw against Tampa with that 19-play drive for 10 minutes because they couldn't get their defense off the field. We saw the same thing yesterday. Unfortunately, that
Insane.
What did you think about that Logan Thomas non-touchdown? Do you think that was a touchdown, or you think that they got the play right?
It was a touchdown. I'm calling bull crap, bull crap, and I don't understand. And the thing of it is, they needed to have like irrefutable evidence that they could overturn that, and there was not enough evidence. You ruled it a touchdown in the field of play. There was nothing there that indicated that it was not a touchdown at all. But that kind of goes along with the fact of where was the PI? Where was the PI on that play to McLaurin? He was clearly all over him, and he hit him before the ball got there. That's not incidental contact. He was making contact. That should have been a PI as well. There's a couple of questionable things that I really that kind of aggravate me. There were a couple of phantom holding calls. One was on Sheriff. I didn't see anything. That was even close to it. But it was definitely a touchdown, and Washington got robbed. I kind of call it what I've been calling it here when I go to the Valdosta State Blazer games. when they get up by a big handful, it seems like the white hat likes to keep the other team, keep things close, and it seems like they were trying to keep things close for Seattle.
I kind of felt the same way and thought the same way. I mean, the last angle they showed, you saw the point of the ball hit the ground, but he had secure possession and the ball didn't move. That's what they said is the disputable proof. If the ball moved, the ball didn't move. It did.
It
The
didn't.
nose did hit the ground, but he had control of the ball. And like you said, for them to overrule that on that, it to me it seemed asinine.
And see, the hitting the ground thing is now over. It doesn't even matter about whether they go to the ground or not. It's just a matter of having control and whether the ball moved. None of those things happen. So I don't know where they got that from. They had to call right the first time, and Washington was just robbed. That was a great play, though. It was a great play, even though it doesn't count. But it should have counted.
Oh yeah, and then on that McLaurin and non-PI, I heard. I know you watched DJ Meet You Meet too. All I heard was that was clean because there is no way in the hell they didn't call. They couldn't call that joint because that. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's a victory. We can talk about the umpiring and refereeing in sports for a long time. But let me
Got
get into
that
some of
right.
these numbers because we spoke about it last week with the time of. I've been preaching time of possession for I don't know how long, and it's so good to finally see it happening on the field, and then me just not just saying it on the air, and people think I'm crazy. Wilson, 20 for 31, 247, two touchdowns, 110 quarterback rate. Heineke, 27 for 35, 223 yards, one touchdown, one interception, 90.5 quarterback rate. Alex Collins, 7 carries, 14 yards, 2 yard average, with one
Stuffed
fumble.
him.
Yeah, with one fumble by Landon Peanut Collins.
Landed, baby. The guy is balling.
He's out there balling right now. He had forced fumble, 7 tackles, and a tackle for loss also. So yeah, he's definitely out there balling and enjoying. Even though he doesn't like being called a linebacker, he's loving being down there in the box, wreaking havoc. Antonio Gibson with the career high, 29 carries for 111 yards, 3.8 yard average. It's fine, but he wore that defense down. J.D. McClissick, 7 carries, 30 yards, 4.3 yard average with a touchdown. Gerald Everett.
How about the burst from from
JD?
just said it. No, from Gibson.
Oh,
Gibson looked like he was being shot out of a cannon every time he hit the hole. I mean, he was patient, and when he was putting the foot in the ground, he looked different last night. You know what I mean? I don't think we've seen this over the last couple of weeks. Even these last 2 wins, he looked different last night.
hey, we talked about it last week. After he got benched for that second quarter, after that fumble, he came
Yeah.
out there in the second half. He was running angry, and I'm sure they
he
showed him the
looked
tape.
good.
And there's like, see what happens when you run with your shoulders, your shoulder pads straight, and you take that first step and run downhill. That's the way he wants you to do it. And we actually saw it. And he also had 7 catches for 35 yards. We're actually
Yes.
seeing what coach said that they're gonna be their version of CMC, Christian
This is
McCaffrey.
Memphis version of Antonio Gibson. This is what he did in college. This is what we saw in the Senior Bowl. Um, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Been waiting for it for a while, but I knew he would come around. Finally, had to have some adversity, I guess.
Yeah, he had, like I said, it's only his second year being a running back, and he converted to running back in the NFL. So you already have a huge learning curve. You're going up against better athletes, top athletes in the world as opposed to college. So he had a learning curve, and the fumbles, he had 5 fumbles, 3 of them lost throughout the season up to currently. So that they set him down. He saw McClissick get in there. He saw Patterson get in there. He was still on the sideline. He came out there in the second half, and he was out there running angry, and he's making sure he's holding on to the ball. So he's definitely, keyed and primed to make something happen in the running game, especially with this upcoming game with the Raiders. And let me just go over the team stats real quick. 27 first downs for the Washington, 10 for Seattle. 5 for 13 on third down, 4 for 12 for Seattle. 1 for 2 on fourth down, should have been 2 for 2. No fourth down attempts for Seattle. 34 rush yards for Seattle. 34. This team was giving up almost 125 a game at one point in the season. Now the last 4 weeks, they haven't given up over 90. And that's without Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the outside. They gained 152 yards rushing. Wilson had 233 yards passing, at 219 for Washington. Total yards, 267 for Seattle, 371 for Washington. Now, this trend goes back almost 7 games that Washington has outgained their opponent. And there's 4 games on the losing streak they lost, 3-game winning streak they're on. Because they're running the ball, controlling the time of possession. 41 minutes and 25 seconds for Washington. 18 minutes and 35 seconds for Seattle. Last week it was 38 minutes. The week before it was 35 minutes. Are you fans seeing a trend here? All of you folks that said it's a passing league, that you don't run the ball anymore, you got to fling the ball down the field. You don't have a 41-minute time of possession if you're flinging the ball down the field. You have it when you have 45 combined rushing attempts from your running backs. It's called Football 101, people. We're teaching on this episode 252. We're going to teach because I'm tired of hearing you guys complain. You have to run the ball in the NFL. That time of possession is so crucial. It gives your offense momentum. It wears down the defense and it allows you to do whatever the hell you want to do in the fourth quarter because those guys are so gassed and tired that they don't know what to do. Dude,
Oh, hey. Bobby Wagner was hot, boy. Bobby Wagner was hot in the beginning. And as that game went on, and as they were getting punished on 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1s, and Washington just running the ball right at them by about third and a half, 4, Bobby Wagner wasn't as hot as he was in the first half.
All you saw was hands on the tip.
Gassed.
Yeah, all you saw was hands on the tip trying to breathe and catch his breath.
That's right.
So, yeah, definitely get to some of the comments on the feed. Mark, he agreed that he said it was a touchdown also. The wrist was underneath the ball. He said the one play when he went around the corner and was called back for holding, he was talking about the sheriff. I didn't see it. I just heard it. So I was already hot when I heard his name. I was like, that damn sheriff. And he also says with a crazy ending to the game. Yeah, that whole onside kick scenario, that was crazy. That was crazy. We also got to talk about the injury to the kicker after the blocked field goal attempt that actually went back for a 2-point conversion, only the second time since the 2-point conversion has been instituted that has happened. And not to be funny about anybody getting injured, but it's like somebody shot him the way he went down when you knew it was his hamstring. And my thing is, why is you trying to chase him? What are you going to do if you do catch him? You're not going to tackle him.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. Look, I'm tired of seeing kickers as soon as they do something other than kick the ball, all of a sudden they hurt. Get in the weight room or get the heck out of the way. Just run to the sideline. I don't care what happens. If you get block kick and they run in your way, just run to the sideline and sit down. Don't even go after them. I don't even care. I ain't even gonna be mad at you because you try to make a play. We all know it's IR. It's straight to IR. He lucky he ain't going to IR. But yeah, it looked like somebody was in the stands with a sniper rifle. Yeah. That joker just sat down in the middle of the field like, dude, you wasn't even doing anything. That's the fastest you ran all night long. Like, good Lord. Kickers just get out of the way. Oh. Don't even try to make a tackle. You got to be here for the whole season. Either that or go to the weight room and get some workouts in. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm tired of seeing these kickers. As soon as they do something other than kick, they're gone. It's IR. You looking for another kicker. It's a wrap.
It's hilarious because they said the exact same thing on NFL Network this morning. They're like, why do kickers do this? Like, it's crazy. I'm like, yeah, what are you going to do if you do catch him? You're not going to tackle him. Yeah, you're going to run beside him.
As big as that man is, he's going straight to IR. Simple as that.
And they
Probably
say,
going to have blood coming out of somewhere.
oh,
They're
man.
going to cart him off. It's like, it's going to be ugly. Just don't do nothing. Run to the sideline.
Man, they said
Sit on the bench.
yeah, 3 to 4 weeks he's supposed to be out. So now the Washington football team is to their 4th kicker of the season. And I thought we had a guy in Slide, but he
Man.
made a mistake in thinking he was a real athlete and pulled the hammy. It's crazy. He pulled the hammy, tried to be an athlete, knowing you're a kicker. Cut that shit out. That's just uncalled for.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that, right? I think I'd rather him run out for a touchdown and
Run to
keep
the
it.
sideline.
Yeah, get out the way.
Get out the way.
Oh,
Yeah, that's-
You
man.
messed up.
crazy.
It's okay. Just run over to Ron Rivera and be like, my bad. And
Yeah,
sit down.
I'm gonna kick it out the end zone next time, though, coach. And for folks that was questioning, I don't know if you put the post out for was Big Hurt. Well, folks was questioning how come they didn't go for the field goal attempt with Tressway. Kickers and punters are 2 different things, and you already had your kicker have his kick blocked to return for 2 points. Do you want to risk having your punter, who hasn't attempted a field goal kick in who knows how long, attempt to kick and get blocked, and it gets taken back 96 yards for a touchdown?
Exactly. Because this is Washington, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to try some crazy stuff. It's going to get blocked, and they're going to run it back for a touchdown. And we're sitting here talking about how, they should have never kicked it with Tressway. All these little crazy things that happened, and they managed to overcome that. That would have been the one that would have just sent it right over, and they would have lost. It's just that clear.
That's a valid point. And going to the touchdown that Russell Wilson had to try to get the 2-point attempt to tie the game. You saw a blown coverage. Landon Collins went out, got his ankle rolled over. DeShazer Everett came in. Wilson did the right thing, went right at him, used his eyes, made him bite, and got a wide open touchdown. And like you said, normally with the Washington football team, that 2-point conversion you already put that on the board.
Yeah,
what
they'd
did
have
we
collapsed.
see? We saw Kendall Fuller. We've been rough on him this year because he's been questionable in some circumstances, but he made a hell of a play. They broke it down beautifully last night, the way that he played the trail position on the guy he was supposed to, knows who Wilson is, diagnosed the play, and basically lulled him into a false insecurity and was there to make the play to end the game, even though we had the onside stuff we got to talk about. But pretty much ending the game.
I love the breakdown of that play in that post game in the Scott Van Pelt, Sports Center. I thought they did a really good job breaking that whole thing down because it did look like he was open when you freeze frame it. But then, the way it's all crossing around, and kudos to them for calling the right defense, for that exact play call. And what a crazy ending! My dad called me right afterwards, and he was like, "That's one of the craziest endings I've ever seen." And it was just. I mean, how easy it was for Seattle to just run through our defense. Like, we had held them to 5, 3 and outs in a row. And then suddenly, they could turn on a switch. And the only difference was, they didn't have Landon Collins out there. But he hasn't been so great in coverage. It's, hard for me to believe that he made the difference in a situation. But he had 6 tackles, and he had a good game. And, he had gotten sort of injured at the end there. And I don't know. It's just how quickly our defense was like Swiss cheese and just
it was more
how
the
effortless.
Tempo. See, Wilson is the up tempo quarterback, and like they say on the feed, the 2-minute offense is simplistic for a team because you're up tempo. You know what plays are in that bucket. It isn't too much to think about. You know where everybody's supposed to be. So in a 2-minute offense, and Jack.
Why don't they do that earlier then? For the 5 drives in a row where they just had nothing.
Because we got Pete Carroll as a coach. Pete Carroll is an old school run the ball, smash it down your throat type of guy. He's trying to convert to one of these dudes because they want Russell Wilson throwing the ball 40, 50 times. That's what the fans want. That's what the NFL wants. But Pete Carroll we want to run the ball, establish time. Pretty much what Washington did to them is what Pete Carroll normally does to other people. And
True.
he couldn't figure it out. And Russell, he's not healthy. He's not. He's 4 weeks from a broken finger?
He's not. You can see it in the accuracy. he's not that bad. And I'm kind of tired of people talking about whether he's like, on the downswing or whatever. That finger is not healed at all. And you can tell because he's missing high, he's missing easy throws. And that has a lot to do with how you're gripping the ball, how the ball comes out of your hand, on release. And I think it's like his third finger from the finger from closest to the thumb. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I think how that ball comes out of his hand is different right now, and it's showing up big time.
I mean, it has to be a big deal because it's the worst 4-game stretch of his entire career, right? So like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you got to know. And it's just like he's been one of the most consistent quarterbacks over the last 15 years. I mean, we've seen the Tom Brady's and stuff like that, but he's right up there. I mean, they were showing some stats. He's got the most touchdowns in the fourth quarter or overtime of any quarterback since 2012. That includes Tom Brady. And it's,
Right.
he's clutch. I mean, he's the definition in my mind of a clutch quarterback, and you just don't see him put 4 bad games together in a row like this unless something's wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think he's healthy at all. I definitely don't. And we have to give shout out once again to the quarterback on our team, Taylor Heineke, first undrafted quarterback to beat 3 Super Bowl quarterbacks in a row. That's impressive in itself. And we've seen the maturation of this kid week by week. I mean, last night, granted, he did slip up. He threw in a double coverage a couple of times. That's why that interception came from with the Logan Thomas. Even though I thought that should have been defensive receiver, even though I hate that call, but I felt like that should have been a defensive receiver call to win.
I'm not blaming him for that though, because Logan Thomas that was a perfect ball inside that coverage. You got to catch it. His hands were on it. It was right to him. He didn't catch it, and usually the quarterback gets blamed for that. But I can't. He gets the INT for it, but that's on the receiver. That was a well thrown ball into some tight coverage.
True.
Guys got to come down with him, man.
True. I agree because we saw him throw into a tight window last week. I was loving that slant touchdown that from the old RG3 days with the zone read. I know folks don't want to mention his name, but I got to because that's my boy. I still love him. So the hell with y'all.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's Heineke. Like I said, I don't say that he's the answer to franchise quarterback, but the way he's playing right now, pretty much mistake-free football, quarterback rating constantly in the hundreds and above. Last week it was 141. I mean, this dude is playing. So, I mean, you got to even if you're not a fan of his, you got to recognize what's going on and how he's maturing and how he's absorbing and learning week by week. This is the progression that you want to see from your team, from your quarterback, and you're seeing it. And I knew he had the potential to string some games together and do some good things, but the way he's been, hitting the guy underneath, not trying to force it down the field. They talked about it in great detail last night, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but you can see it. So you got to give the man some props, and you got to take your hat off to him because he's taking advantage of the situation that's been laid at his feet, and he's making the most out of it. And if this team can go on a legit run, they're going to, like when they do draft a quarterback, they're going to feel comfortable having him develop, on the bench and not feel to be rushed to put him into the game because, he's a top draft pick or he's a quarterback. He needs to get in the game. And you can teach him and he can learn from watching a quarterback like Heineke run the offense, who's been in this offense for over 5 years, going back to his time in Carolina and knows the offense. And it's just, I feel like a beautiful situation right now, in my opinion. So how often have we been able to say that about the quarterback situation with the Washington football
team? Not very often.
Not at all.
Outside of Alex, and that was, outside of that, not at all. I just like the way you can tell the guy's just having a blast. Like he goes out there and there's a lot of times you hear people talking about referencing great quarterbacks like Brett Favre and all of that. but he really does look like Brett out there. Aside from like, you know what I mean? You know, aside from being Brett, he does. He plays with like just like kid like joy, and the guys are feeding off of that. And I thought they said that during the broadcast as well. Like you see him almost get sacked, and he like weasels out of it and
Oh
ducks and
man,
gets
oh.
a couple yards.
That was
This
beautiful.
dude, it fires him up. Like as soon as he like you hit him, and if he comes out of something and makes a play, oh, it's over because that just takes his confidence level up another notch. Then he just starts making plays after plays after plays, and he just gets looser and looser and looser. And with this running game being the way it is, it's really helping him as far as the passing game goes. And you know, this offensive line, bro, like you got like you're on your fourth center, and I'm
Fourth
thinking,
center, bro.
dude's gonna get blowed up. He's gonna get blowed up. You know, especially when that front for Seattle was really coming down and being aggressive. He was holding his own out there, and it just like things just didn't miss a beat. You've seen that with the injuries that we've had across that line. You know, the guys have come in, filled in, and done the job. And this offensive line, I mean, we've had some big name, you know, guys on the offensive line. And we have a bunch of guys that are just scrappy, and they're getting the job done, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. You know, they're getting it done. And what we've always talked about, especially over the last couple of years, I know me and you, Carol, have been talking about this, is that with this run game, and I think this offensive line is a little bit different, but with this run game, it really helps them in the pass game. It really, really helps them. But I think if they have to go out and pass a lot, they have been successful in doing that. You know what I mean? They've been successful in being able to go out there and have to string together several plays where you're just pass happy type of offense and give Heineke the protection that he needs to be able to make plays.
Definitely. Get some more of the comments on the feed. We got a new viewer, Lala. I haven't seen you on before. Appreciate you coming. He said, talking about Heineke. He said he is our future quarterback. I've said that since last year. And he said he's not afraid to run the ball or run in and out of the pocket. True that. Mark Moore says our offensive line has been amazing, which I agree. We were just four centers alone already is amazing that your team is still able to function properly in 41 minutes of time of possession with a new center in there, you know, different centers. You know, you had Sheriff go out, you had it's just been crazy, man, how many injuries that we've sustained. But they're running the ball more and running the ball more effectively now, even when they shuffle people in and out. It's crazy.
Right.
And Mark said we are in a great position to make some noise in the East. We control it. True that. That's what we talked about, the division games at the end of the season, and would that come into play, you know, with playoffs and everything. And they have a game against the Raiders next week in Las Vegas, and then the next 5 games are all division opponents where they hold their destiny in their hands, and you have the Cowboys playing.
I still think it's bullshit. It might help us, but I'm still so mad. Like, no other team has ever had to do this. I've never seen it before in my life. No other team currently has to do it in their schedule. Even other teams in our division. I mean, one thing if like all NFC East teams play all the other ones at the end of the year, I'd be like, all right, well that's just a thing, right? Like, but like, why are we the only one? It's just a very, very strange thing for me.
You know that NFL don't like Washington. They don't like Washington.
All we can do is play who's in front of
But
us.
it would be great if we could just somehow win, 6 in a row and have that backfire and make the playoffs in back-to-back years. Because they didn't want us to make it last year, and
I said last week I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but in actuality, I really feel like, this team.
They're putting themselves in position.
Exactly. This team, we saw it last year with this team. And that's when all the folks were all upset. And I'm like, dude, remember last year? Yeah. 2-5. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah. And they still made a run and got out at the right time and started playing football for 60 minutes and playing as a team. We're seeing
now, listen to these some interesting stats here, Carol.
Go ahead.
So, rushing, right? They were averaging 125 yards a game. They're averaging about 125 yards a game, in 2021,
Mhm.
and they're ranked ninth in the league. They are ranked seventh over the last 3 games, averaging 145.3 yards per game. Third down conversions. So third down conversions for this offense was quite atrocious, right? Like they were struggling. Um, Washington is 17th in the league. They were averaging about 39.16% in third down conversions on offense. Well, in their last 3 games, they're averaging close to 50%, 48.89% in third down conversions. You know, you just those things alone. I mean, uh, you look at some of the completion. They were averaging about 10 completions. Um, 10 yards per completion. They're actually down in the last 3 games, about 9 yards per completion, but they're close to the average. I think that helps because of the run game. It really doesn't matter because of that. They're running the ball so well. Um, but you look at the yards per game that the passing attempts per game has gone down a little bit, 29.7. That's good. I mean, you don't want to be 40% in it 40, 50 times. I think we all know that's a little bit too much for your offense. So just a couple cool stats that you really show the improvement that they've made over the last 3 games, and it really is a noticeable. It's a huge gain offensively for this team, and it's helped them out, and the reason why they've got 3 wins so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're seeing that we always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about how you start; it's how you finish. And for some reason this year, the game plan was flawed with Del Rio, with him just wanting to send four and sit in the soft zone. Rivera said during the break they were going to reevaluate every position and evaluate their game plans and scheme that they have, and you're going to see adjustments out of the bye week, which we've seen, and it's doing nothing but making this team better, building building off the foundation that they already have. And as I said with the defense, they've been stepping up going back almost 7 to 8 weeks. So now the fact that you're missing Montez Sweat and Chase Young on the outside, and you're having the depth that's being shown from this team, you got to take a step back and look that we had backups that was on the squad that if they got cut, they was flipping burgers at Wendy's, and next week you never heard from them again. Now you got depth players that's coming in for first round players and doing the damn job. You have to see the transition of what's going on. You can't expect 25 years of dysfunction to get fixed in one season in 10 games. Or we should be doing this, we should be doing that. If you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't be flipping burgers at McDonald's, you'll be on the sideline. Let the coach do what he does. He's built franchises, rebuilt franchises. Let the man do what he does because he knows what he's doing. And we're seeing the maturation of the team. We're seeing them on the same page. We're not seeing any of the distractions that we would see from the old stuff that was going on. See, y'all don't talk about that stuff because it's not going on. But I recall a couple of years ago how all y'all was upset. Oh, we're a laughing stock. They're always talking bad about us. We got all this other stuff going on. You ain't heard no other distractions and nothing else come out of Redskins Ashburn. I'm sorry, but football talk. So these fans that's talking that he's washed up, you need to fire him, this and that, we got to do this. Pump your brakes. You see that you got to step back and take a look at the big picture. And the season isn't over now with the 17 game schedule and 7 wild card teams. Anything is possible. Yeah. Anything is possible.
And let's talk about some interesting stats since you talking about defense. Right. Let's talk about some interesting stats here. Okay. Rushing, they've always done pretty good with the rushing yards per game, but they're fourth in the league in opposing rushing yards per game, right? So they're on average about 92.6 yards per game is what they allow. Well, you know what they've allowed in the last 3 games? They're like number 2. They've only allowed 66 yards in the last three games, an average of 66 yards. Okay, that's just rushing. Now, passing was a big deal for this team.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the passing yards per game. You know they're down around 30. 266 is what the average is for 2021. Over the last three games, they've allowed 213 yards of passing per game. The total defense. We're going to talk about total opposing yards. Okay, they were allowing almost close to about 360 a game. You know what they've allowed in the last three? 279 of total yards per game. And oh yeah, that ugly stat of third down conversions, that percentage that they were allowing, yeah, it was pretty bad because on the average, they are 32nd. It was 51.37% on third down conversions for this season so far, on average. Over the last three games, 32.26%. And you know what they allowed on the last night? 33.33%.
5-3 and out.
Talk about improvement. Talk about improvement. And I'll quote something that a colleague of mine, Seawall, said earlier in the season. There were a lot of guys playing in different positions that they necessarily hadn't been playing before. So when you do that, especially on the back half, now linebacker was an issue. We had an issue at linebacker, no doubt about that. Now, when you get all of those things out of whack, things become a little bit discombobulated because the communication is off. Guys not necessarily knowing when they're supposed to be, where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. They're a little late. So you give up a little bit more on that back half. Also, we talked about it. You and I and Robbie talked about it. It looked like a bunch of individuals on that defense playing. Didn't look like a team defense. It looked like a whole bunch of guys trying to do too much. But now they're playing as a solid unit. I thought last night, over the last three games, we've seen that, but last night was very, very, it stood out a lot, especially when they faced adversity. The big play that was given up earlier, I think it was to Lockett. Then you had the big play that was given up for the touchdown late in the game. You see, they bounced back. See, there's things about this team that I know fans saw that and are like, oh boy, here we go again, same old Washington. And then they make a big play after that, the interception in the end zone late in the ball game. The slowing them down and stopping them and forcing them to kick a field goal. These types of things are what you're seeing because guys now know where they're supposed to be and they stop playing like individuals and they're playing like a collective unit. And the stats don't lie, man. They're really, really balling out there. And it really is giving them a lot of momentum. They have a lot of confidence. And I think last night we saw that despite some of the miscues, they didn't allow those things to bring them down. They were very confident, playing with a little bit of swagger. And this is what we expected. But like you said, Carol, this is what happened last season. So, and it's happening a little bit earlier this season. So anything's possible at this point. If they can just keep, nose to the grindstone, 10 toes down, keep doing the work. Anything's possible.
Definitely agree. Let's go ahead and get into the upcoming matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders. They've been having an up and down season, and because I have Darren Waller and they're running back on my fantasy, seems like Darren Waller looks like he won't be going against Washington football team. They have him week to week with a knee injury, and the Raiders are a decent team. They definitely play better with the lead. They do have a nasty front four like Washington does. I can't remember the guy's name, but he has a relentless motor, and he's definitely going to be trying to wreak havoc Taylor Heineke next week. But it's definitely, in my opinion, a game that's winnable and can get them, going in with a lot of momentum going into that first game of the division of the last 5 games of the division. I believe it's the Cowboys, isn't
Yes, it is.
it? All
It is the December Cowboys.
right.
Yeah. I'm still, like I said a couple weeks ago, um, y'all can hit me up if y'all them boys when you get through Miss December.
Hmm.
Okay? Then we'll talk about whether you them boys or not. Until then, it December, y'all tanking it, it ain't even December yet. So, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how this goes down. But I think they should be able to handle the Raiders. The Raiders are 6-5. Washington's 5-6. AFC West is very competitive for the Raiders right now, trying to get some traction in there. Washington is creeping up behind the Cowboys, who are on a 3-game losing streak now. So
Yes.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting. This is definitely going to be a good game to see, and also with Dallas playing the Saints on Thursday, that's going to be a very interesting game to see how that pans out. The Saints don't have a quarterback right now.
Taysom Hill will be starting.
Oh,
Taysom Hill
I
will
should
be
ask you
starting.
about that. Yeah, I did see he got a nice contract. What was it, 4 year, $40 million deal?
Yeah, it's all in the numbers, you know what I mean? It's kind of to help the cap a little bit, move some things around. But yeah, Taysom will be starting. Um, I think it's a good game for him to start in. I'm not really confident in him as being the future of but I believe that right now he's what they need. If he can dual threat it with his running ability, his physical running ability, and be able to just be smart with the football, I think he's got a heck of a chance against a defense in the Cowboys that's reeling right now, especially in the secondary. Then your coach is going to be out. They're having some COVID issues. So it's going to be interesting. I think Taysom Hill provides a different game plan, and it's going to be something that is not on film. You can go back and look at a lot of things that Taysom has done. Covering the Saints. I know about that, but I can guarantee you that Sean Payton going to throw some new stuff out here with this offense. And if they can get Kamara back, boy oh boy, it's going to be a problem. They're going to pose a problem for them.
That's what I'm hoping to see, because Trevor Simeon, I picked him up when Lamar Jackson couldn't go the week before, and yeah,
Yeah, not good.
it wasn't pretty at all. So Taysom Hill, I think that gives them a better shot. The defense has been playing quality for the Saints, and once Winston went down, I'm shocked to say he was actually making that team go. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, and what's going to happen on that Thursday night game, and ready for the 4 o'clock start for on Sunday against the Raiders. I'll definitely be checking it out. We'll be doing at the bar radio at 6 o'clock, so I'll be probably watching the game while we're doing the show. So you'll get some live some live play by play maybe, and some live expressions of whatever's going on. But let the folks know what you got going on, dudes. Now I know you probably got we held you up for almost an hour. I wasn't expecting to go that long, but it is the 250 episode. He's talking about these great Washington football team players that we've seen over the last 3 weeks. Look like a real football team. Let the folks know what you got going on.
Well, before I close out, though, I'm going to give you some Raider stats here that I find interesting here.
Right.
So they are a passing team. They pass about 62.75% of the time. They only rush 37.25% of the time. It's kind of weird, isn't it? They have a very good running back, but yet they don't use him. It's weird. Their third down conversion rate is 34.35%. It's terrible. They don't convert third downs very well. And a thing that's going to be very good for Washington offensively is that they also are about 40% in opposing teams' third down conversion rate. They are terrible. They allow about 75% in red zone scoring. So that's always good. And they allow a 66.50 completion percentage. So there's a lot of things here. The Raiders look good, and they are good enough to win ball games, but they beat teams who don't close them out. That's really what it all boils down to. Because they go do a lot of three and outs, they miss a lot of opportunities. But then if you're the team that doesn't take advantage of those opportunities, you let them hang around like any ball club, they're going to get you. And I feel like this is a game that Washington is likely going to win. For the second time this season, I'm going to pick them to win this ball game. Um, I really feel like they can with the momentum that they have, with both sides of the ball playing really sound and with a lot of confidence. I really honestly think this is a team that the Raiders really don't want to see at this moment, especially since they're trying to build a little bit of momentum too in that tough division that they're in. So, with all those things said, it's just a matter of execution and going out there and doing what they've been doing for the last three games, and we might have a fourth win of the season here. And I'm going to pick them to win in a close ball game, but it could go either way. I mean, we've seen them pull away from some teams and put them away, and that's possible. So we'll see.
No doubt, I definitely agree. It's going to be a good game, going to be an interesting game, and I think it should be a victory for the Washington football team to go into these last 5 division games with a lot of momentum and their destiny in their hands. And depending on what the Cowboys do on Thursday, might be in prime position to be a big matchup coming up for the division lead. Who knows?
Yeah, never know, man. Never know.
Yeah. So let the folks know what you got going on with the breakdown and whatever stuff you got popping off.
Well, we'll be coming back with the breakdown. We're gonna have some discussion about RG3's new book. I find that interesting. Um, I find it really interesting. And for those fans that don't know about what really happened with certain things, he's going to tell it. Some of us who covered the team when he was there know about some of these things that went on. Team really painted him like the bad guy, but I'm really happy that he's going to get the chance to do that. We're going to talk a little bit of Washington Wizards as those boys are balling, unlike my Lakers. They're playing very well, and we're going to talk about them as well. And you can always catch me on the Not Bland Show on Ghostcast. That is Apple only right now, but there will be some upgrades. So just stay tuned to that because I'll be able to talk about that here later when they do these upgrades. And we'll be able to have guys like Robbie and Carol on the Not Bland Show soon as they upgrade things. So it will be awesome to be able to do that. So we're going to probably have something here this week on that show as well. And it's just going to be simple NFL stuff. We're just going to talk NFL. It's a fun time of year. Things have been great as far as the league is going. And for Washington football team fans, these last 3 weeks have been just heaven. So hopefully it continues because it makes for great and easy work for us guys.
Yeah, real quickly, Dujane just sent me the bio. It's going to be added to the website. The website has been just updated. I know I mentioned it in the hockey broadcast, but people are just tuning in for the football one. There's going to be bios for all of our different contributors. We really appreciate all of the support you've given us over. I think you've done 3 or 4 seasons now with us, and it's been really fun to mix it up with you and have you be a big part of these 250 episodes. Also the podcast partners still remain, so if they want to check out the breakdown, and when we get the bio up there, we'll have links to the Ghostcast and all that sort of stuff as well. It was fun. I was looking just back real quickly before I let you go on our picks before the season started. Carol 13-4. That's gonna be a rough one since we already have more than 4 losses. But I'm hoping that we get one more win because then Brian Brennan, who has 5 wins on the season, could be wrong on that side too. So Dujane, you're still in the hunt of it, so am I. Although I hope I'm wrong.
What was my record? I don't even remember.
10-7.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I figured that would be fair. It was looking ugly here earlier, but I think we could do that.
But you have us winning 4 out of the last 6. which would get us right close to that. So I think that you're pretty spot on with your assessment. By 6-11, I was really worried, and I also have a lot of losses coming up. So it depends on how these division games go. They could go either way. But Duchesne, I really appreciate you, especially for picking up the slack even when I can't be a part of the thing. And you've been a great member of this team, and I look forward to. I won't be on any more of the football ones, except for maybe January, because I know that one of the games goes into that. I'll be back in January, so I'm not sure if I'll catch that episode. But thank you for helping Carol cover the rest of this season. It's been fun covering the last bunch of seasons with you, and I look forward to being on more podcasts with you in the future.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it as well. I was telling Carol, it's been awesome to see the growth that you guys have done over these seasons, and just to be a part of it. I'm just happy to see you guys win. I'm all about seeing other people win, and it makes me really happy to see you guys where you are right now, and just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, you're a big part. I mean, you've been at least, I want to say 50 of our 250 shows. So, you've been a big contributor, talking all sorts of stuff. And, I'm excited to see where this all goes. Hopefully we'll make the playoffs and then I'll be back talking with you. So, we can hope for a big run here, and then I can join you for another one this season. But thank you again for everything, and we'll talk to you soon.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, man. I'll let you later on.
All right, brother.
All right. And you know what was crazy about that segment, Robbie, that I didn't realize? The whole time we were in the 3-up, I had the hockey stats going, not the football stats.
I saw it and I meant to say it, but I was like, we were in such a roll that I was like, I didn't want to slow it down, and so
I looked up and saw the Capitals Stanley Cup in the back. I'm like, hold, I didn't change the damn. I was like, oh, that's what happened when you start drinking early in the show, man. Things just go kind of crazy.
I know. Well, the things went south of the hockey, and then stats just go out the window, right?
Hey, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and step back and let you guys talk to me. Did I see that Kyrie Irving has gone to the Lakers? Did I see something? Is that something real, or that was just something I saw on social media?
I have not seen that, so I have no idea. Carol, real quickly before you go, I just want to make sure that this works. Does this pop up correctly for you on your view, or does it screw things up for you?
Oh no, you good. As long as I had to hit the right button that you do it. Now you good to go.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good. Well, I will see if we can do. There we go. The NBA. It's been so long since I've used that scene, but yeah. So I think we got Arun on as well. Maybe Arun, are you going to join us on camera, or are you just going to be the voice of Arun for this? Oh, there he is with the dog and everything. Awesome. All right.
It works. Okay.
It works. Awesome. All right. So it's going to be a bit of an abbreviated, a little bit of a quicker NBA roundtable this week. Brian had to get to work early tomorrow, so unfortunately he couldn't stay on. We ran a little long on our football coverage, but it was such a great conversation when we rarely get to recap a Monday Night Football victory. I have no problem with going a little long on that. Unfortunately, went a little long on the Caps, and you got to watch a collapse. That's kind of the fun thing of live watching us watch sports. You get to see the real, true emotions of us as fans and as podcasters. But let's just get into it. The week that was, I'll just break down the general scoring of the game, and then I'll get each one of your takes on it. I'm joined tonight. Unfortunately, Tim can't join us tonight, but we got Arun and Champ in the house. I know Arun's excited that RG3 was already mentioned. Usually he's getting his RG3 thoughts in. We'll get his thoughts on that at the very end. And Champ, I know that you've been busy podcasting a lot. I hope that you have been well as well. I hope you guys have both had a great Thanksgiving. I'm not going to talk too much pleasantries, because I know I want to get all of us on and off pretty quickly tonight. I'll let you guys each give your final thoughts on Thanksgiving, your podcast, or anything you want to talk about at the end. Let's talk about this New Orleans Pelicans versus the Washington Wizards game. It started off horribly. In the first quarter, the New Orleans put up 36 points, and they put up 36 points in the second. and then they just sort of paced themselves to the rest of the game. The Pelicans' top scorers were Jonas Valanciunas and Brandon Ingram, and then a couple other people that were in double digits as well. The Wizards had Bradley scoring 23, but just overall, just not a great game, especially defensively, which had been our strong suit. They went to New Orleans. New Orleans only had, I believe, 4 wins, and it wasn't a great one. I'll get Champ's thoughts first on this one. Champ, what are we thinking with this game?
All right, I gotta act like I know what I'm talking about because I have my better half watching me, so I gotta be real professional here. Okay.
Welcome, by
this-
the way. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us on Twitch. I saw that you're our latest follower, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's real awesome. This is one of the worst teams in the Western Conference and in the NBA. And this Wizards team didn't lead the game not once. They didn't lead at all in this game. And the biggest lead that New Orleans had was 31. So that should tell you and give you a microcosm of what this game was. This was a horrible, horrible performance by this Wizards team. Yes, they scored 102 points. Well, yay, awesome. But this was against one of the worst teams in the NBA, and they couldn't even get even a 2-point lead on them. Some of your big time players in this game didn't really show up when it came to the stat sheet. Of course, Bill had 23, but he really didn't have a lot of help around him. Dinwiddie had 11. Harold had 10 off the bench. Neto had 13 off the bench. You didn't have a lot of help scoring wise. And then, as you mentioned, Robbie, defensively, this team just was not there, and it showed. And this was just not a good game. And this is a game you should win. This is a game you should win, and you didn't. And this is not going to be a very positive one to look at, but it's one to learn from, to learn that even a team with a record like New Orleans, you still have to play them to the point that you get a lead, put your foot on the neck, and step on the windpipe, like Doc Walker said.
Indeed. Arun, looking at some of these stats here, what sort of stuck out to you, and why do you think there was such a big defensive lapse in this game compared to some of the other games that we've seen?
Yeah, the Wizards, maybe they don't match up well with the Pelicans because even though the Wizards beat them last week or less than 7 days before this game, they were down by 20 points against the Pelicans, and the Pelicans were up by 20 again at halftime, and this time the Pelicans weren't going to let the Wizards back into this one. Some poor shooting performances, and the one that stands out is Davis Bertans made his return, but only shot 1 of 10 from three-point range. That's not going to get it done. And yeah, the champ mentioned the defense was terrible, so not much to take away from this game as far as anything positive.
Yeah, they allowed them to get 12 offensive rebounds. Had 33 assists to the 23 there. Just overall, just not so great play. All right, let's skip ahead to the next game, which was a bit of a more fun one. On Friday, they were able to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was the next game, right? Yeah. And then early on, the Thunder had a bit of a lead. The Wizards came back in the second. They had a great defensive third quarter, only allowing 14 points. And then the Thunder tried to come back into it, but the Wizards were able to hold them off in that. Bradley Beal and KCP both had 20 points in this one. And this time I'll start with Arun. What stood out to you in this game?
Yeah, just the Wizards barely having enough to hold on. I think this is actually probably the second worst team in the NBA behind the Houston Rockets. And the Thunder aren't even that bad. They beat the Lakers twice this season already. And a few former Lakers helped Washington finish the deal. KCP, 8 of 13 from the field for 20 points. Kyle Kuzma, 11 points, including a pretty big three-pointer. Beal, pretty cold from three-point range, 2 of 7, but he did finish for 20 points. And overall, the Wizards did enough to get it done. And even though the Thunder did hold the Washington Wizards to 101 points, another win for Washington holding a team under 100 points.
Yeah. Champ, what are some of your thoughts?
This was a game where you come off the loss that you have to New Orleans, and this is a game where it looked like OKC was going to run you out of the gym late, but you showed that grit, that fight, that determination that you have shown throughout this season to get you to where you're at this point. And it is because of that grit and that determination and the fact that, KCP and Beal were able to score the way they did. They had some key defensive stops that they were able to hold off this team, and they didn't suffer a back-to-back losses to some of the worst teams in the Western Conference and or in the NBA. So a great win for the Wizards. It was close. It was too close for comfort, to be honest with you, but great job of fighting, being determined, staying in it. Montrezl Harrell continues to just be a beast off the bench. He had 14 points in this one, and just an amazing performance from this team. Thankfully, not falling to one of the worst teams in the league after falling to another one of the worst teams in the league a couple nights prior.
For sure. All right, let's get into the next game, and that was the Mavericks game. This was a really good game. I was able to actually catch a lot of it. I just thought, Kyle Kuzma played really well. I think that the three players we got in that Lakers trade. Now, I think that Westbrook has done some decent things, but I really think that they won this trade. And enough can't be said about our general manager being able to flip John Wall for Westbrook, being able to get Westbrook to the triple double, crown him the champion, all time. So all those accolades are, in a Wizards uniform, up his stock value, and then be able to get three players in return. And all of them have been playing really, really great for us. I thought Montrezl Harrell has been really solid. Kyle Kuzma, I think he's really good. I like how he says that he could be that sort of star, and he was kind of held back in the Lakers a little bit. I don't see him being aggressive enough at times. I could see him even being more aggressive, but he has played a lot better for us. And KCP has played better as of late, and especially picking up, when we've been, some other players have gone down or haven't been playing well. Bertans, that contract looks terrible, and I was really worried at the time when I thought that we reached and overpaid for that contract, but it's not looking good, and the fans are turning on him very, very quickly. But with that, Champ, what are some of your thoughts on what I thought was a really solid victory? The Wizards put up 41 points early on, and they just kind of never looked back from there. I mean, Mavericks did a really good second, but the Wizards put it together a really solid second half.
This game was really good because, again, at the time the Mavericks were fourth in the Western Conference, so they're one of the better teams in that conference. And you're coming off a back-to-back. You came from OKC and traveled to Dallas. So this is one of those games that will make you very nervous. But to score 41 points in the first quarter really set the tone. They were able to continue to score with 6 players in double figures. They played very solid defense when they needed to. And when it was all said and done with Bradley Beal dropping 26, Luka Doncic did get off with 33, but they were able to make the stops that they needed to make, and they were able to just do what they needed to do, coming off a back-to-back and still doing well. I'm still very concerned about their need to want to try to hit the three ball. They're not shooting very well from three. This night they were 38%. They're not shooting well from three. They need to kind of get away from that. Last year they were the best in the paint. They need to get back to that. They have some really talented big men, so they need to get back to that and maybe hold off on shooting so many threes, so that way if it gets down to it where they need the three ball, the teams are not expecting it because they've been doing so well in the paint. So that's my take on that. They did well, but they need to do more in the paint so that the three ball can be a lot more not expected, so that they can drop it on somebody without warning.
Yeah, one thing I thought was interesting is they seem to be calling less fouls in the paint, though. Some of those ticky-tack fouls that we saw in previous years, they seem to be going away from some of that, and I wonder if that discourages players from driving so much, because if they're not going to get rewarded for it and there's a chance for injury, is it worth it? Take the risk, the high-risk shot of the three, but, at least you save the body. Arun, what are some of your thoughts on that? Do you think that we're seeing some of the change of play because they're not calling as many of those fouls, or do you think that they're unrelated?
Yeah, they're not calling as many of those fouls. I think on players who are 6'4" and under, like on Dame Lillard, and I think guys like Jimmy Butler were living at the free throw line against the Wizards. But yeah, that's definitely why defensive numbers have been up throughout the whole league. And as far as this game goes, the Wizards scored 120 points. Luka Doncic, yeah, he put up great numbers, but he was playing with an injured ankle, and the Wizards were running him ragged on the other end. Even Denny was attacking him and scoring buckets. And Bradley Beal with a great game, 10 to 14 from the field. As Ken mentioned, he shot less 3-pointers, but that was probably the key to the win. Only shot one and made one. KCP with the huge clutch shot mid-range to seal the game. And yeah, the first win in Dallas since 2009 when Gilbert Arenas was the his last season starting before Gungate. And a nice win for Washington to break that streak. Jason Kidd was coach of the Mavericks, and he started that game against the Wizards the last time the Wizards won in Dallas.
Oh wow, that's a good fun fact. Arun always pulls out such great facts that I would never have even been able to find. Let's get into the next game. As much as I'd like to dwell on the good one, I just know for time purposes, I'm trying to keep this show around 2 hours. We just can never win in San Antonio. I dread this game every year. We seem to do better against the Spurs when at least they're in Washington. At least we win some of those. But 21 in a row going into this, and obviously we lose this game, so it's now 22. It's just brutal because the Wizards played a great first half, and I thought they had a real shot at it, but then they just fell apart in that third, being outscored 39 to 27, and then 32 to 21. And what was a really close game, and in fact, it was a lead for the Wizards at halftime, ends up looking like a blowout, and it's just really, really frustrating. Some of we didn't have anyone break 20 points, which is never a good sign for the Wizards. And on the flip side, they had a couple players who broke the 20-point, but a lot of players in double figures. Just a rough game for them. I'll start with Arun. What are some of your thoughts on the dreaded San Antonio game?
Yeah, the last time they won was 1999 when movies like The Matrix and The Phantom Menace were in theaters. And overall, Greg Popovich was the coach of the team. And actually, Washington had won 4 games in a row prior to this longest current losing streak in the NBA. So pretty bad that the Wizards couldn't get a win. But the first quarter, even though it was a tied game, San Antonio was shooting pretty awfully in that quarter. And the Wizards' offense from 3 was pretty horrendous. Bradley Beal didn't really get it going either. He scored most of his buckets against the rookie Primo from Alabama, and he actually lit up the Wizards quite a bit on the other end. So Bertans, they played him against his former team. He couldn't get it done again. I believe he's 1 of 18. And then since he's come back from this injury, maybe he gets it going better at home. But guys like Denny are out shooting Davis Bertans from 3, and Denny's shooting sub 30% from 3-point range. I think Bertans is shooting 5% from 3-point range since he's come back, which is, I don't know, that's like Dwight Howard shooting threes, I think. And just a bad loss.
I don't know what you do at this point. Like, it's frustrating because how do you move him? I mean, that contract is an albatross. It's impossible to move. And he's just got to play through it and get somehow better if we want to. Or we just have him be as a very expensive bench player, but it's pretty rough. Champ, what are some of your thoughts on this one?
The San Antonio curse continues. My goodness. It's crazy that I was 17 years old the last time this team won, and I'm about to approach 40, and I have yet to see the Wizards win in San Antonio. Eventually, this team is going to win in San Antonio. This San Antonio team is not a very good team, but they were good on this night. It's very unfortunate, and the Wizards weren't coming off a back-to-back, so there's really was no excuse. It's just, as you mentioned, that third quarter was just disastrous for the Wizards, and if they even had a remotely stayed in that third quarter and scored a little bit more and played a little bit more defense, we might be having a different talk about this game. But that third quarter absolutely destroyed the Wizards' chances of breaking the curse, and then the fourth quarter just sealed it for them. And unfortunately, now the losing streak continues. I think it's like up now to 22 straight in San Antonio that they've lost. So
Yeah.
it's sad, but we can't
Yeah,
dwell on it.
I think the third quarter really demoralized them, and they just couldn't get it
Yeah.
together in the fourth because of it. And they just came to that conclusion. Here we go again, and it just kind of all like fell apart for them. And some players that I'd never even heard of before were just scoring, and just baskets were dropping, and for the Wizards they weren't. And it's just. And for a team who's usually pretty good at the free throw line, for some of those wins, they were really good. They had a tough time on that night, and it's just not very many offensive rebounds, and it was a tough game all around. But I don't want to dwell too much on it. I just want to quickly look at the upcoming schedule because I know that time is tight. We're gonna play the Timberwolves tomorrow in Washington, and then we play the Cavaliers on Friday with Ludacris in the house. So if you anybody likes Ludacris, go buy tickets to that Cavaliers game. It should be a good game. The Cavaliers Wizards have always played each other tough, no matter how good or bad they are. And then afterwards, you get a Ludicrous game. And then on Sunday at 6, a little bit of an earlier game, the Wizards play the Raptors. And then next Monday, the Wizards play the Pacers. So that's going to be a back-to-back. And so next week, Brian will be back, and Tim will probably be back too. And you guys will break down that live Pacers game, which will have just been ending probably right before you guys air. So Timberwolves, Cavaliers, Raptors, Pacers. I'm going to let Champ do the first two. I'm going to let Arun do the second two. So Champ, Timberwolves and Cavaliers, what are your thoughts on those two teams?
Well, okay, so Timberwolves are around middle of the road, so that should be a middle of the road in the West. So that should be a pretty interesting contest, and you're back at home, so that should be one that's pretty winnable. So I would hope they will come out with a little bit of fire, especially coming off this loss to the Spurs, where again they lose in San Antonio, so they're going to be fired up, and they're back at home. The Cavs game should be pretty electric in terms of the fans because of the fact they're getting Ludacris performing after the game. So you would think they would want to go out there and get a victory. The Cavs aren't playing badly this year. They're playing average. So I'm pretty sure, and like you mentioned, Robbie, they play them so tough every time they play them. So these two games are winnable games. I will say that they win both of those games. In my opinion, they win both of those games because they're back at home. They got the energy going. They're going to be fired up from the loss to San Antonio, and then they're going to have the electricity of the crowd because of the concert series that's happening after the game. So they're going to be electric. I say they win both of those games going into that back-to-back road trip that Arun's going to talk about.
All right, Arun, you got the going to Toronto on Sunday, and then to Indiana the next night. So that's going to be a rough back-to-back. What are your thoughts on those two games?
Yeah, it's going to be. I think they split these two games. They've already lost to the Raptors in Washington, but they did blow out the Raptors in Toronto, so that could be a close game. The Pacers, they were taken to overtime, but without Bradley Beal. The Wizards definitely need to show better effort than they did against San Antonio in both of these games, defensively, but overall. I think because it's back-to-back, I think they go 1-1 in these two games.
And what do you think is your overall record for the week, including the other two games?
I have them winning against Cleveland and losing to the Timberwolves, given the Timberwolves have won 8 of their past 9 games.
So you got it as 2-2. And Champ, what are your overall record, you think, for the week?
Well, seeing as though I just said they're going to win these two games at home, I'm going to agree with Arun that they're going to split the back-to-back away games. So I got them going 3-1 this coming week.
Yeah, well, I'm on record for hoping that Champ's right. But that's how I'll leave it. I think they'll go 2-2. I'm not sure if it'll split that way, but just overall, I'll take the middle of the three choices there, and hope that I mean, they could sweep or get swept. So those are two other options that none of us are taking. But hopefully we're all wrong and they sweep and take a 4-0. And that would be an exciting podcast next week. So that would be awesome. So I'm going to end the screen share there. And Champ, let people know. Well, first of all, how was your Thanksgiving, and then how are things going in the podcast world?
Thanksgiving was different, but it is what it is. My son got to spend Thanksgiving weekend with my parents for the weekend, so he had fun and everything like that. The podcasting world is pretty busy. Wrestling just been busy. New Japan is in the midst of its World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors tournament, and I've been covering that with my guy Sage. And we got another podcast coming up on Thursday with a live stream on Thursday on Twitch, with the podcast coming out on Friday. This Saturday with the regular podcast, we will be previewing NXT War Games, which is coming up this Sunday. So, unfortunately, I will most likely miss the Raptors game because I will be live stream reacting to NXT War Games this Sunday. So, we got all of that going on with you for that. So, make sure you check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod, and make sure you listen to the No Spots podcast by clicking on the podcast partners button on sportsothp.com.
Perfect. Yeah, so we'll get Champ's bio up there on the Team Sports OTHP up there soon, and we'll link to all of his stuff and all the Twitch things. And thank you again for being one of my moderators on Twitch and helping me be a part of this journey and getting me my latest follower. Just 3 away from 200 over there. We did hit the 100 mark on YouTube, so I appreciate people following me over there, and it's been quite an awesome run through 250 shows, and you've been a huge part of it, Champ, and you've been able to help us keep the True Radio Network alive. We're the two flagship shows of the True Radio Network at this point. I know Hertz on a hiatus. I'm sure he'll be back at some point. And I know also Sith, is a big part of the network as well, and carrying the label as well. And so I really appreciate both of you guys for being such a big part of this show over the 250 shows, and doing some of our pre-games and post-games, getting to do it at the bar with you. That's one of my favorite moments of doing this podcast. So we've had a lot of great ups and downs, celebrating for both the football team and for basketball as well. And I appreciate all that you've done for this show over 250, and hopefully we'll get 250 more over the next 5.5 years. And hopefully you'll be along for all the rides. But thank you so much for being a big part of the roundtable, even when I can't be. And I look forward to joining you again in January.
Robbie, again, congratulations. Zara is absolutely beautiful, and I've been blessed to be able to be a part of this Talk Wizards. It's a good break to talk about something other than wrestling. So I'm very happy to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to the future as well. Thank you, and thank you, Carol, as well, and of course Arun and Tim and Brian. You guys are like family to me, and I appreciate you guys so much. And to my better half, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Nice. I appreciate all of that. And Arun, I'm going to let you break down the RG3. We alluded to it earlier, but we actually, Carol, have real RG3 news, not fake RG3 news, not made up. But Arun's got on the 250th show. It just seems so perfect, right? But Arun, this book, it's kind of a bombshell. I had not heard about it until today. But it must have been out there before this was happening. But what are your thoughts on the big RG3 news?
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be up for a Pulitzer Book of the Year, made into a movie, HBO potentially, or Disney Plus. See how it goes. We'll see if RG3's last win happens when he beats the Chargers in overtime. It's the same day that I actually adopted my cat. So maybe I shouldn't rename my cat RG Kitty. But yeah, RG3. And speaking of RG3, the fun RG3 fact is it's the first home win on Monday Night Football since RG3 did it back in 2012 against the New York Giants. So everything's coming full circle with RG3.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, Arun, are you? I know you were working on a podcast. I'm not sure if you're on a hiatus from that or if you're still working on that. But let people know where they can follow you. And I know you still sometimes do pics on your blog and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, you can follow me on the Hey RN podcast. I've actually have been on a break. You can listen to my last one where I break down a trade which was canceled by Brian Brennan, and actually that trade is looking even more like that it shouldn't have been canceled. And you can go listen to that. It's a pretty good rant. Even Brian enjoyed that podcast, even though I attacked him for a majority of that podcast. But he thought it was my best podcast to date. So you could go back and listen to that one, and yeah, I'll probably have an update on that trade. And it's always good content, me being angry at Brian.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you for helping us break down all these Wizards and being the stats guy and being a part of our Nationals talk and football. And you've filled in for so many different things. I think you're one of the few people that I could say that have been on every single season of Sports on the Hill podcast. From the beginning, and I appreciate that so much. Always with the RG3 stats and beyond, but. Thank you for being a part of it. I look forward to putting your bio up on the website as well, so people can catch more Rune. But thank you so much for being a part of it, and look forward to being back on a show with you in January.
Yeah, I believe I was on the second episode talking about March Madness, and it's crazy that we made it all the way to 250. I think I've been on I don't know, maybe 150 to 200 episodes. So
yeah, I would say at least 150 because you are right. You were on episode 2, and I don't know. You may have been one of our first guests, other than Hurt, who's a producer of it. But I can't think of any other guests that would have been longer on the podcast. So that's pretty amazing that you're there on episode 2 and you're here still at 250. So I appreciate that so much, and I hope that you have a great holiday season. And I'll definitely catch you on the flip side to talk more Wizards in January.
Sure, thanks for having me on, and can't wait for a book club discussion with Carol and RG3.
I think I'm going to pick that book up, Arun. I think I'm going to pick up that book.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I wish I had the time to read. I would love to know more about it, But I definitely hope that some of our people on our team pick it up and can give me the Cliff Notes version in the upcoming show.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting once it breaks. Yeah, I just realized I had my mic turned down the whole damn second half. Boy, it's been a rough show. 250 been a crazy show. So yeah.
Yeah, we have the ups and downs. We have the ups of the Washington football team, the downs of the Capitals. But I kind of love it. People can really see that we are truly fans. You can see my full reaction to us collapsing, live on air. So, and people got to meet Zara. So, that's kind of cool. But it's been really fun, Carol. I mean, I was doing some of the stats. I'll talk about them at the end of the show now. 500 different program segments that you and I have produced together, whether it be pre-game, post-game, podcasts, other videos, highlight videos, over 500 pieces of content. There's over 450 on our website. I mean, so we know that there's, I definitely don't post everything on there. I post the big stuff, but definitely check out all of our stuff. We have the new social media button. I hope people use it because they can find all of our socials now. Before it was just the podcast ones, but Carol posts so much great content on his page. People can follow mine if they want more Zara content or more Zach content. And but Carol, 250 shows. We've had such great guests. Looking back over it, just really incredible who's we've gotten to come through the podcast, whether it be in video form or audio form. And I'm just so proud of where we've been able to do. I was looking up how many podcasts can even hit the 250 mark. So few shows can do it for 250 weeks like we've done. So many come and go. People say, oh, I can do that. That's easy. I'll tell you, we've gone through so many different iterations with video content. The fact that we're not sitting next to each other, but it looks like we are, and it looks different on my screen than it does on yours, and the technology we've been able to do. And now, I impart some of this advice that we've been able to learn to so many shows across Twitch and other providers. And it's just kind of cool that we're looked at as like almost the older statesmen, and a lot of people have looked up to us and tried to copy or duplicate, but no one can. We've got, I think the big reason is the team that we've been able to acquire. You've seen so many of them on tonight's show. I know that Tim and Brian wanted to join, and it just wasn't able to work out in the last minute. But Hurt, and so many, Paul, and Sith over the years, and it's just I can't thank Hurt and Black GOP enough. Rest in peace. For the opportunity that they gave us, and sort of the torch that we carry with us, and the 2,200 followers still on Facebook that are a part of this group, and across so many platforms. And I really appreciate all the fans and all the support that we've gotten. But Carol, that was more my reflection on 250, but what are sort of the things that stand out to you before we let the podcast end tonight?
It just started out, like I say, I was coaching football. My schedule at work changed. I couldn't coach anymore, so I would be on Twitter, just during the football games, just tweeting out stuff. Somebody reached out, asked me about writing for a small blog, and from that interaction on social media with someone I've never met in person, sparked all of this. Started for me writing for a small blog, and now we have our show that started with me and you, a team of now over 14 people that's associated with our brand. And I'm proud to be the one that helped bring all of this together. And it's yeah, we had a dream when we started this. We got tired of DC sports media with the anonymous sources and all the negative spin and all of the BS they put out there. And we decided to put together a real sports talk show like we used to have back in my day when I was younger. My dad would listen to it, and it was real sports talk. It wasn't none of this other BS that's going on over airwaves now. And granted, I would love to have our show on the mainstream platform, but we're not what they want. They want the clickbait. They want the anonymous source crap and BS. They want folks that don't know nothing about the sports just talking about craziness for no reason at all. They get people enraged or whatever. We wanted to bring true sports content, even killed, and what's what. X's and O's, on the court, on the field. All the other stuff is just left out. And the fact that folks are tuning in for 5.5 seasons now, following us. I've been spoke to folks in the street that recognize me from streaming live. It's a good feeling to be to be where we are and to see where we're possibly going. As I said many times, I'm working on getting another. We always have one big interview every season, and I'm working on it. I've been busy at the car dealership, so I haven't been able to delve into it like I want to. But stay tuned. I got some things in the works for some more, another great guest for our show. And we got the apparel line. Just copped a new, well, not new to me. Had to cop a new hoodie. It's getting a little cold out there. It's Christmas time here. You're gonna check out sportsothp.com. Click on.
I like how you have the inverse hoodie to mine, which is kind of cool. I've got the one with the S and then the Sports OTHP in the back, and
Exactly.
so it's people can definitely check that out. Sportsothp.com, and I'm repping the Mantha stuff. I wish he was healthy. I've been repping a lot of the burgundy and gold color stuff.
Jeez, I forgot he was even on the team. What happened? He had what injury did he have?
Hurt leg.
Oh.
Same injury that Verana had. It's so creepy. They got traded for each other and got almost the exact same injury. And yeah, I mean, missing him and missing Backstrom and TJ Oshie and Eller, and it's the fact that we've been able to plug in these young guys and they've been all able to score goals. We had 6 rookie goal scorers. It's pretty crazy. And but yeah, just talking about hockey, I've loved being able to go to hockey events and be spotted in the crowd and people coming up to me and talking to me in the hallways, and it's really cool to have that opportunity at the cup where I got to touch the cup with Zach in utero. Got to meet a lot of fans at that, and it's just really cool. We've gotten to go to parades. We've gotten to do all sorts of really fun things as part of this podcast. So I really appreciate everyone for being a part of it. And again, it was a dream. You just posted your blog on my Facebook group that I started, and we started chatting. And you went on a Redskins podcast, Hertz House, and they liked what you had. And they said, "Do you want to have Mondays?" And we said yes. And I was gonna just produce you, and just be like fall back. And they're like, "No, we'll give you a producer. Try it out. Who knows what might happen." And who would have thought? I would have been fine just producing your segments, but now we got this friendship and started this whole thing and merch lines and emotes and all sorts of really fun stuff. So 250 episodes. It's a big milestone. I just wanted to take some time to celebrate that because too many things in this world we focus on the negative, and too quickly things pass by, and you got to sometimes look back and say, hey, we really did the thing. We've really created something that people come through and want to know more about. And it's been really fun to be able to cover my favorite sports teams with you every week and with some of my closest friends. And it's really as a personal thing during the pandemic. Not being able to see some of my friends, being able to see you every Monday and see them every Monday has kind of given me that stability back. And I can be like, oh, it's like me talking to my friends on the couch again. And it's been really important for at least my mental health. And I know it's been helpful for you and others in the group too. So, it's. I'm excited. I'm thankful for you guys for carrying the torch through the month of December. I'm going to come back in January. There's going to be one Monday I'm going to miss in January because I'm actually going to go to a Caps game live, and I might try to join our Zoom on my phone to see if I can get like a muted view from the Caps game. We'll try something new. It probably doesn't have enough signal, but we'll try a couple of things in the new year because worst comes to worst, it sucks and I jump off. But why not try new things? And it'll be really fun. We have Caps fans from all over the world going to that game. And so I may even just show, meeting some of those people as well. So that'll be a good one against Vegas, sort of halfway through January. So lots of fun things coming up in the new year. I'm looking forward to coming back. I'm thankful for the time to be on. It's been really great, and I really appreciate everyone for joining me on Twitch and for on your Facebook feed and all that. And I think that's it for me. But definitely check out the new sportsothp.com. It's updated today with all new buttons and new graphics and stuff like that. It's the beta version. We'll be adding the final text and stuff over the next month, and the full release will happen early 2022. Carol, it's crazy to say.
Yeah, this year's gone by so quick, so fast, and about to be December. So yeah, it's crazy. But
Oh, and happy Hanukkah. I've had the graphic up. I've had a menorah up on my screen for parts of the thing, but I do want to wish anybody that is Jewish out there, any Denny Avadija fans possibly from the Wizard segment still listening, a happy Hanukkah. And obviously, I won't be here, but a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody as well, for those who celebrate any of those things. And if anyone wants to catch up with me, they can always do so on Instagram, and send me messages on that or Facebook. And I always like chopping it up and still talking sports, even on paternity leave. But Carol, thank you again for keeping the ship rolling and taking on, I know, a lot more of the responsibility without me. But you guys have done a great job, and it's been really fun to post the shows on the website and see how well you guys have done.
no doubt, no doubt. It's been a great run. We got, like I said, we got more stuff in store. Like I said, certain social media platforms is trying to restrict it. So like I said, we might be taking our services elsewhere. Be on the lookout. We have a couple of partners that we're working with on Roku, Apple TV, and a couple of other pay streaming services. So be on the lookout of us making some moves. Not saying nothing immediately, so don't panic, don't worry. You gotta worry about paying for our show, but you know subscribe to the channel. You get our content. We'll still share some of the stuff on. I might still stream some of it on YouTube just to give you some of it, get you to come back and check us out. But yeah, we're definitely looking to expand. We're I'm making some connections with some of the sports world that, like I said, I'm not really speaking on right now. But I'm trying to make some things happen for Sports on the Hill podcast. We do it because we love it. We do it because we enjoy it. But ultimate goal is to be able to, make a living talking sports for a living. So that's my goal. So stay tuned. We got a lot of things in store. Working out some logistical things and some time and scheduling things. But yeah, DC sports are the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. Stay tuned for another 250 or more episodes. Got so much more to come. CP3, Robbie G, we out. Catch you next Monday. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network. And we out.
I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke unless I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke unless I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. But I dish it like I give it and go. Counting money while I chill at the stove. How I deliver, I've been at the dough. It's up to you how business will go. That 36 I get for the low. Count it up, no feelings will show. Spend so much, gotta get it some more. When they hands out, I just give it a no. How they always talk about me, but a nigga stand out. Watch out how you really walk up to me, that's a man down. All these niggas got these drums with them like a band now. I've been doing what I want, that's what you can't doubt. I've been just feeling myself. Do I just really need help? I got my weight up. I be just telling myself I got love for all of my dogs. I take a pay cut. Some niggas really gon' ride. Some niggas really gon' slide. So go say a prayer. We ain't never got a slap five. Nigga, just pay your tithes and call me the mayor. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings. She giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up
Renegade 703, baby.
I'm living these fads. Never go broke unless I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on the move, that's a digital day. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke unless I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past.
What's up? What's up, man?
I've been calling you all day.
Listen. I'm in the booth. I'm gonna call you back as soon as I'm done. Give me like 10 minutes.
What do you mean you're gonna call me back? Like, I've been calling you all day. It's been hours. Like, what are you doing?
I know. It's your birthday. My apologies. Give me 10 minutes, babe. I'm gonna call you right back.
No, you with them girls, aren't you? I know you with them girls.
Ain't no damn girls in here.
So let me see then.
You gonna do that? You gonna do that to me in front of Chill?
Smooth B in the fellas.
You got me waiting on my birthday, so let me see.
Yeah, no problem. Fellas, say hello. Hello. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We working. That's hard though. Hey, listen. Hey, give me an hour. I'm gonna call you real quick. Calm down. Relax. I got you.
Hurry up.
money.
Lucas.
Money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut him mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say. Stay up out of my way. Cause money, 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 make him shut him mouth. Keep playing with these goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised, this is homicide. We just multiply, we been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. And use all my case, niggas on my face. You can get erased, what you talking about? Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm balling, I'm balling, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm feeling like Robert's a horror. Nigga, I'm scoring. I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign. So independent, my money be corporate. These raps is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead and let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii. All day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, man. And you can never, ever, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about.